Very much. It's hot, wind blowing out today. Cubs do go for their first ever 4-game sweep over the Brewers in this ballpark. It's been a really good homestand, hasn't it?
Yeah, indeed it has. Cubs have won 7 of the 9 on the homestand. They've won 17 of their last 20. They're finishing up that stretch of 24 out of 32 at home. So far during that stretch, 23 wins, 8 losses, and they've picked up 5.5 games in the standings.
Let's check out the highlights from last night, Game 3 of the series after the Cubs engineered the double-header sweep on Tuesday, and there's nothing better than early run support.
Early run support, and it was early and often against Jimmy Nelson, the Brewers starter. He has really struggled of late, and the Cubs jumped him early. Ben Zobrist with the RBI single, and the Cubs were off and running as Fowler scores. Little bad luck for Nelson as Russell just flips this ball into shallow right field for an RBI knock. And then, my goodness, did Jorge Soler get into that Nelson fastball, a monstrous 450-foot home run.
So it was 5-0 after 1. Third inning now. David Ross with number 8 on the year. Not much doubt about this. Run number 6 for the Cubs, and that was plenty for the left-hander John Lester.
Yeah, the Brewers made him work. He threw a lot of pitches, the most he has made in a start this year, 118. So there's a lot of deep counts, a lot of foul balls, but at the end of the day, Lester holding the Brewers to just 1 run. They've scored only 2 so far in this series. 13 hits for the Brewers in the first 3 games of this set. John struck out 7, picking up the win yesterday.
So 6-1 the final. Our lowest home field advantage as we see what the Cubs have done here at home. The runs per game has been pretty steady throughout the year, about 5 per game. The starting rotation, 16 consecutive games without a loss for the starters.
Yeah, starting pitching has just been absolutely brilliant. You see that 107 ERA on the homestand. You don't need a whole lot of run support when you throw the ball that well.
And today it'll be Jake Arrieta as the Cubs try to win 8 of 10 here at home.
Yeah, Arrieta's been on a nice roll of late. He's been outstanding in his own ballpark. We could plug in any of the Cubs pitchers and make the same comments. Against the Brewers, his last 4 starts, he's 3-0 with a 104. He's faced them once this year, back at the end of April.
So Zach Davies will start for the Brewers against the Cubs' Jake Arrieta, and one of the biggest Cub fans in the world with his Ryan Domit glove, Eddie Vedder, with a strike, one of the ceremonial first pitches. Pearl Jam, a couple of sold-out shows coming up here in the friendly confines this weekend. When we come back, we'll chat with our Cubs insider, Patrick Mooney. Stay with us.
Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. Ford, inviting you to check out their fuel-efficient lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by your local Kia dealers. Visit mykiachicago.com to learn more.
Make sure you follow Patrick Mooney, our Cubs insider, all season long on CSNChicago.com, presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich, serving the community for 38 years. Go to jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. Aaron Waters Show kicking off this weekend, and great to have Patrick with us. Options, that's been the buzzword for Joe Maddon, not only position player-wise, but starting. The rotation has been so good. We're already talking about October and how Joe's going to line it up, but these are good problems to have.
Yeah, and I think last year, all 5 guys made about 30 starts, and from the front office, Justin, the media said, no way that ever happens again. And of course, it's kind of what it's looking like. I mean, the Cubs are approaching that decision point with John Lackey, whether or not they're going to have to put him on the DL with that shoulder injury. Jed Hoyer didn't rule that out, and the Cubs are kind of making certain contingency plans. But, we saw what the Mets did last October. The Nationals got a lot of hype, but you're looking at really what has been the best rotation in baseball. And I'm not sure if anyone predicted that heading into this season after the huge investments they've made in this lineup.
And when you talk about expectations in terms of these 5 guys, I mean, Hamill and Hendricks are really the big story this year, right?
Yeah, I think the Cubs had a pretty good idea of what they'd get out of the top 3 air quotes here. Jake Arrieta has had a really nice follow-up to that Cy Young season. You haven't really seen too much of an effect from almost 250 innings last year, but certainly Jason Hamill has answered those questions about the second half fade and whether or not he can sustain it, this Hamill 2.0 idea. And Kyle Hendricks continues to impress everyone. He's the guy that has to be, at this point, top 5, top 3, top 2 in a Cy Young ballot, I would think, at this point.
Pretty amazing. You have an MVP vote, and as you formulate, what are your early thoughts?
Yeah, we were just talking about this after hearing the crowd here chanting MVP for Anthony Rizzo after that tarp catch the other night, and certainly he's at the top of that conversation. Daniel Murphy has been a great presence for the Washington Nationals, kind of carrying the load while Bryce Harper's had a down season. But outside of those Triple Crown categories, I'm not sure if you see him doing exactly what Anthony Rizzo does, and that's Gold Glove defense every single night, kind of clutch hits, huge clubhouse presence kind of in his own way, and really kind of lifting this franchise on his back. I think the bigger issue would be would him and Chris Bryant ultimately split the votes.
Lastly, with the bullpen stroke, hopefully we'll be back maybe a couple of weeks to go in the regular season. How important is Hector Rondon, that bridge from starter to Chapman?
Yeah, he's essential. I mean, I think if you look at it, the Cubs were something like 55-1 heading into the 9th inning before they got Chapman. So the issue wasn't there. It's always about getting it to your closer. And this triceps issue, I think whenever Rondon's feeling a little off or a little sore, you look back at his Tommy John history and the fact he missed almost 3 full seasons, nearly derailed his entire career. So if they can get him healthy in the 8th, Stroh back in the 7th, that's kind of the blueprint the Cubs have designed for October.
All right, Patrick, we will see you on the California leg of this upcoming 3-city trip. Let's send it down to the field as they are preparing for our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining the team on the field is World War II veteran Ade Kern. Ade served from 1943 through the end of the war, was appointed to General Eisenhower's staff, and was present at the Little Red Schoolhouse in France when Germany signed an unconditional surrender to the Allies in 1945. At this time, we welcome the United States Navy parachute team, the Leapfrogs, who dedicate today's jump in remembrance of fellow Navy SEAL Dave Warson and his heroic actions in giving his life while serving in Afghanistan with SEAL Team 3 on August 16, 2012. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please remain standing and join Wayne Mesmer as he honors America with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
The finale of a 4-game set between the Cubs and Brewers coming your way on Comcast Sportsnet. This is your Coors Light Game Report. This one will wrap up a nice long 10-game homestand for Madden's club, and then they head out west. Let's check out your PNC upcoming schedule. It'll start out with 3 in Colorado, and then the Team heading to San Diego for a trio there, and then it is up the 405 to wrap things up out west in LA. Of course, the Dodgers, part of that wild card race in the NL, a team that the Cubs could see again before too long. And then it's back home to finish off August. But the theme for the flight back from Cali has indeed been determined, and Madden looking forward to a comfortable ride.
On the way home, we're doing the onesies. There were no onesies on the way back. I got mine. Very solid, I think. Hopefully it's just a little bit cool that night, just a little bit. You know, if it's like really warm, it's going to be possibly insufferable. Going from the hotel to the, ballpark, and from the ballpark to the plane. The plane, because planes are normally cool, so that's okay. Of course, you're allowed to reuse. We've already had that conversation. I got something new for this trip.
There you go. I'll have to find out if Arrieta is going to reuse the mustache onesie, but I got a feeling he's probably shopped around for some new threads as well. But it will be Arrieta and Zach Davies going in the finale this afternoon from Wrigley Field. It is the Cubs and Brewers coming your way on Comcast Sportsnet. Lynn and JD will have the call after this.
Rizzo on the left, he's got it! He has a towering blast, way out of here. Deep drive left center. Wow! Cubs win 3 in a row. Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. Another great day here in Chicago, and the Cubs wrap up what has been a terrific homestand. They've won 7 of the first 9, and they go for a 4-game series sweep over the 4th place Milwaukee Brewers. Let's get the Brewers Southwest starting a lineup against right-hander Jake Arrieta. VR playing short. Jeanette, his double play partner. They get Ryan Braun back in the lineup. He only missed 1 game with the knee issue. Perez at third, Carter at first, Kurt Neuenhuis in center, Martin Maldonado back at the plate, Ramon Flores his first start in almost 3 weeks, and the pitcher Zach Davies will bat 9th. Here we go. Strike 1 to get us started.
Arrieta looking for win number 15. He's 14-5 with a 2.55 ERA. That's good for 5th best in the National League. Batting average against of 188, 2nd best, trailing only Clayton Kershaw.
swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Oof. Lane changer. Well, let's set the Cubs defensively, and it's brought to you by Arby's. Matt Caesar making his 5th start in center field. He's got Soler and Zobrist on either side of him. Bryant, Russell, Baez, Rizzo on the infield. Wilson Contreras catching Jake Arrieta for the first time this year.
That's Rob Drake behind the plate. Torres, Holbrook, Davis on the bases. Scooter Gennett takes ball 1. 0 for 11 in the series, 0 for his last 15 overall. One and one. Chronicle the starters. This run has been pretty incredible. Last 16 games as a group, 11-0 with a 161. They've allowed 2 or fewer runs. The starters have in 12 consecutive games. That's the longest Cubs single season streak since at least 1913. Gennett. Bounces out to Baez. Now we have to get through today, and then we head to Colorado, and the Rockies can pile up runs in bunches, especially there. But this run has been mighty impressive.
Yeah, if they're able to pitch like this in Colorado, then that will really be something. It's been a heck of a run. Each and every man that goes out there, night after night, day after day.
Ryan Braun back in there. He had to leave early in game 2 Tuesday night. He slammed into the sidewall and left. Strained his left knee, sprained his left ankle.
Yeah, I would think if he was thinking about, or they were thinking about giving him another day, Craig Counsell might have had the conversation, man, if there's any way you can tee it up today for me. Their offense has really struggled. Braun, one of the premier hitters in the league, and he's been really good. Second half hitting .368 with 9 home runs, a .736 slugging percentage since the break. That's the second best in the league.
1-1 from Arrieta's a strike. It's 1-2. This looked really bad, and he's fortunate to only have missed 1 game.
He carried a lot of speed into that wall, basically bounced off of it.
He admitted he slid late. There's just so little room between the foul line and the wall. He rolls one to Baez, and Jake Arrieta goes 1-2-3 in the first. Cubs coming up against Zach Davies when we come back. leadoff man is presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. It's Matt Caesar's chance today, and if he gets a hit, Binny's will donate $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. Some reverse splits here with Davies in that changeup. Caesar in there for Fowler. Bryant playing third. Rizzo, Zobrist, Russell. Jorge Soler has been red hot since coming back from the DL. Wilson Contreras catches. Javier Baez playing second, and Jake Arrieta pitching.
Brewers defensively, they've committed a bunch of errors, more than any team in the National League. Braun, Neuenhuis, Flores in the outfield. Perez, Villar, Jeanette, Carter, third to first. Martin Maldonado, the catcher, and the Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Zach Davies, 23-year-old right-hander. Not a real big guy at all. 6 even, $160. Knows how to pitch. 9-5 with a 3.80 ERA. Locates the fastball well. Good mix of pitches. Good off-speed pitch.
Caesar in the air to deep center, caught on the track by Neuenhuis. Wind blowing out, so he grabbed hold of that fly. Now, lefties do have a higher OPS against Davies than righties, but it's the repertoire, right?
Yeah, and we've seen him really good against lefties with that changeup. He'll top out at 92, but average fastball velocity about 89. So a finesse right-hander. Not a whole lot of those guys around. Kyle Hendricks comes to mind. Similar in style to Kyle.
Third start against the Cubs. He has won his first 2. 0-2 on Chris Bryant. 359 over his last 10 games.
Davies pitched to Dandy here. Our first look at him last September. 6 innings of 2-hit scoreless baseball. Over from the Orioles at the trade deadline last season. The deal that sent Gerardo Parra to Baltimore.
Compared to a lot of pitchers these days, he is just a wisp of a man. Listed at 155, 6 feet tall, but baseball players come in all shapes and sizes, don't they?
Yeah, and it's, you know, we do this every single day, and we set the defense and we go to the pitcher, and invariably I say, and the big right-hander or the big left-hander. so many pitchers are big guys, but not Davies. In the real world, he'd be normal, but in baseball, especially for a right-handed pitcher, he's smallish.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Rizzo is on deck, just getting started. Bottom of the first. Ground ball towards center and through as they were shifting. Jeanette was over on the other side of second base.
So to defend that ground ball, I guess you would say the proper positioning should have been strong pull, extreme pull, just not shifting to the other side of the diamond. But even at straight up normal positioning, that's going to be a base hit. Sometimes people try to make the point, well, he beat the shift. Well, if there were no shift on, if you're playing traditional alignment there, the second baseman probably gloves that ball, but unlikely that he throws Bryant out.
And where they were positioned tells you that that particular ground ball is not seen very often off his bat. It's being held by Carter. As Rizzo bats, and he drills one right fair ball. Going to kick off the sidewall. Flores will collect it. Bryant to third. He'll be held there, and it's a double for Rizzo. So after a quiet night last night, An extra base hit in his first plate appearance today.
Quiet night for Anthony last night. Made a heck of a play defensively to end the ball game, but did not do a whole lot with the bat. But on this homestand, he and Chris Bryant both doing a lot of damage. Both hitting .333 on the homestand coming into play here today. And here they go again. Single double, and the Cubs are going to put a crooked number on the board yet again.
Zobrist credited with the game-winning RBI last night. First inning RBI single. Curve. Ooh, give it to him. Strike one.
I don't know if I should say I hate the Drake now or save it till later. He's not particularly fond of the Drake right now.
0-1.
Field back, they'll concede a run here to get an out.
That is a prudent maneuver. However, you could make a case based on what the Brewers offense has not done in this series, and the fact the Brewers are facing Jake Arrieta. Well, you could potentially move the infield.
Yeah, if it was third only, for sure. Second and third, less so. But yeah, I mean, and that's the challenge for a manager, right? To come to the ballpark every day with a fresh approach. You can't assume that your team's not going to score.
Kick and the 2-1. Misses. 3-1.
I guess you can assume your team's not going to score much. Because anytime you're facing the likes of this Cubs rotation, you feel like you're up against it.
Pulled to first. Carter will take the out there as a run scores. It's 1-0 Cubs. Two outs in the inning. Rizzo at third. Here's Russell. .54 of his 73 RBIs have come at home. Second most home RBIs in the National League. Ball one. That looked like a strike, but Maldonado had to reach for it. And I know that shouldn't matter, but it does in terms of how pitches are called.
Yeah, and it's not like the umpire's going, well, he had to reach for it, therefore it's a ball. He's just he's seeing it as a ball.
Out of the left center, and it'll get down, and the Cubs lead 2-0 as Rizzo trots home. RBI 74, 55 of which have come here at home for Russell.
Davies, like Nelson yesterday, finds himself in an early hole. This time Russell not really out on the barrel on the sweet spot, but good enough to get that run home.
Jorge Soler batting sixth. You heard in the background, you're going to hear a fair amount today, I have a feeling. Some practice runs. The air show this weekend. Greater coverage of baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile. Excellent start to August after coming back from the DL for Soler. show last night. The 3-run variety.
Cubs have outscored their opponents by 208 runs now. The Nationals are second in that department. They have a run differential of 137. Gives you some idea of how dominant this club has been. There's that good changeup. And in the first inning, they have outscored the opposition 80-45.
Graphic was going into today. 2-2. Cubs got 5 off Jimmy Nelson in the first last night. Made him throw 49 pitches to get 3 outs.
Yeah, the pitcher goes out there. He knows he's up against a good lineup. They're trying to settle in, getting in a little bit of a rhythm, and they put pressure on you early. The next thing you know, you're on your heels. You're getting defensive, pitching out of the zone, working at hitters' counts. And it all comes unraveling.
Action time for Russell with 2 outs and a full count. There he goes. The pitch taken for called strike 3. To end the inning, but 3 hits and 2 runs, and the Cubs have the early lead. Presented by State Farm. Hey, Cub fans, let's go. Tickets are still available for the Cubs' next homestand. It'll feature the Reds and the Giants. Don't miss any action during the stretch run. Visit Cubs.com to get your tickets today. Perez takes a sinker low for ball 1. Arrieta and Contreras are working together for the first time this year. That was on Joe's list in terms of things he wanted to see here down the stretch, this combination. Line drive center field. It'll stay up there for Caesar.
Yeah, certainly important for Contreras to catch Arrieta. You want all your catchers to be familiar with all your pitchers. As Contreras continues to impress with his offensive game and continues to improve with his work behind the plate. You can see him getting more and more playing time.
Chris Carter swings away. Caesar makes the catch.
I can hear, but I cannot see these jets flying overhead.
It was impressive sounding.
Yeah, be a little disconcerting out there on the field.
Bring up Neuenhuis. It's George Jetson.
Don't do it, Mav.
Oh.
It's time to buzz the tower.
Right one. Hey, Dwayne Stannis, lifelong Cub fan from Rockford. Just got home from surgery. Hope you're feeling better, Dwayne. Slider just missed.
Yeah, Jake has been very fastball centric over his last 3 starts. High 70s in terms of percentage of usage of the heater. He really backed off that cutter in the last couple of starts. Looks like he's got a good one going here today.
Hit on the hands and fought off foul. Great group of people, big Cub fans from Plymouth Place in LaGrange, including Sue Gross, who's 88. Longtime Cub fan. This is her first trip to Wrigley Field. Great to have them here. In the air to left. Soler comes over. And just in fair territory, he makes the catch. Brewers go down 1-2-3 once again. 2-0 Cubs early.
With Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card only available to your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC.
Did you ever do that?
Spin around? Yes. In the middle of the sky? No. That was pretty impressive.
It is. Sure, it's incredibly exhilarating.
It's not on my bucket list either. I'm good. Good right here, terra firma.
Wilson Contreras leading off. Took off the end of his bat. A little dribbler foul.
Have you done it? Skydive?
Nope.
Bungee jump?
Nope.
Anything like that? Splash Mountain?
I'm not even into roller coasters anymore. I'm too old for it.
Yeah, if they spin,
I don't
I'm
have the stomach
toast.
for it.
Yeah.
Popped up. Maldonado. Tell you what, he had room, but he had to navigate around and into that little nook.
Rizzo would have had that one.
It hit the ledge.
Yeah, it's the ledge. It's Rizzo's ball.
Jeanette makes the catch on the back pedal. So one out, it'll bring up Javier Baez.
Well, we've seen Davies twice, and he's been good both times. And the thing that impresses you is, yes, he has good off-speed stuff, but he knows how to utilize his fastball, both sides of the plate. He's comfortable going inside on both right and left-handed hitters. He's able to induce some weak contact in there.
Called strike on Javi. Long home run Tuesday night. He is heating up again, 6 out of 15 with 2 homers over his last 6 games. He's playing second today. 0-2. Cubs are 33 over 500, season high. Lead the division by 12.5 over the Cardinals. So the Cardinals have won 4 in a row. So have the Pirates, but the lead hasn't really changed because the Cubs keep winning.
Yeah, the Cubs are they're the Katie Ledecky of the National League Central. Those other teams are pushing as hard as they can. They're kicking as hard as possible in the water. And they're not gaining any ground.
As strikes out. The updated standings. Brewers trying to hold off the Reds for 4th.
The Cubs had a 7-game lead when they started this stretch of 24 out of 32. Here at Wrigley. Very comfortable margin now. Remember when too long ago the Cardinals were starting to creep up, what got within 6-ish, maybe even 5.5 at one point. Cubs hit the accelerator.
Sounds silly to say now that one game mattered that much, but that win right before the break. Pirates could have gotten within 5.5, right? They had swept.
Yeah.
Yeah, that felt significant. Just to stave off the sweep. That was a bad stretch. Cubs went 5-15 over 20 games. But turned it right back around.
Which, baseball being baseball, the best of teams are going to go through a tough stretch or two. This upcoming road trip could be difficult.
2-2. By the way, in the third, we're going to be joined by our good buddy Bill Schroeder, Brewers TV. They are off today, so we thought we'd make him work for at least an inning. He can give us some good Joe Madden insight, as they were together in the Angels organization back in the late 80s. Just foul. Arrieta came in at 283 on the year. A couple of homers, 6 RBIs. I haven't really looked at the pitchers around the league. Cubs have a couple guys, Arrieta and Hamill, have been really good. I assume Madison Bumgarner, probably the leader right now for the Silver Sluggers. Swing and a miss, and the inning is over. 2-0 Cubs after 2. League catcher with the Brewers and the Angels, longtime Brewers television analyst, and my first broadcast partner.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you to work today a little bit. Over there hanging in the visiting radio or TV booth. How you doing, Rock?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
How you doing, man?
Nice and cool over here. A lot of room.
Yeah, it's luxurious.
You like Wrigley a lot better when you work this booth. There's no question about it. As Martin Maldonado will lead it off for the Brewers. 2-0 Cubs. Ball 1. All right, I want to ask you about a couple of buddies of yours. Chris Bosio, the Cubs' fine pitching coach, was your battery mate, and he reminded me of a particular at bat at Tiger Stadium. Kirk Gibson's at the plate. He said you didn't even put down a sign. You just gave him a come on, let's go, bring the heat.
Yeah.
And Gibby hit one over the roof, and you went out and said you didn't get it in far enough. I said in far enough. He pulled it over the roof.
Yeah. Well, just
So
just telling him that it wasn't that bad of a pitch. You get it in a little bit more, you might hook it foul, or you might jam him. I mean, you have to be a little bit of a psychologist out there, right, JD?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you can't go out there and say hey, that was a bad pitch. I mean, hey, you got to get the positive in every situation, right? But I love my time with Boz. I mean, what a competitor. I don't think, as far as a pitcher goes, I don't think there was a more fierce competitor that I ever caught in my entire career. And he wanted to win. He didn't have the greatest stuff in the world, but he went right after you. And he does that, and that's the kind of the philosophy that he has with his pitchers here.
Well, he likes them to be aggressive. 2-2. Topper Arrieta will make the play. 1 out.
I had Jamie Quirk tell me in spring training one time. Gave up I don't know if it was a long home run or he called for a pitch and I missed location badly and the ball got smoked. I don't remember the result of the swing, but he came out to the mound and he said to me, "Come on, you're better than that." And my response was, "Yeah, maybe not."
Right?
Yeah.
Well, you keep telling me that, right? That's kind of what we had to do back there behind home plate once in a while. He lie to you.
Do you ever get in a guy's face?
Well, I mean, I don't know if getting into a guy's face is kind of. There were certain guys that you knew you had to kick in the pants once in a while and tell them that, hey, you don't straighten things out, you're going to be out of here. And then there's other guys you got to say all along that, hey, you're making some good pitches.
Good stuff today, man.
Yeah, just keep it going. But Boz was one of those guys where you could be honest with him and say, look, this is not going well. You got to get it going. Whatever that might have been. But he responded well. I remember. Back in the days, I never liked to start stories with, when I played that, people, right away get bored. But, back in the day, we didn't have the personal bat bag that we carried on the road. And we were in the middle of a long road trip.
Ball's going to carry pretty deep to the warning track. Caesar's got just enough room.
I wasn't one of those guys like Robin or Paul that, could fill the 4 bat bags that we were able to carry on the planes with, 6, 7, 8 of my bats because, wasn't playing all that much. But I remember in Toronto, Boz had a rough outing and he went in and took apart a couple of bats. Happened to be both my bats. So I'm left with 1 bat for 4 games, which pretty much I could get through with that. But yeah, he.
So do you think it was a selective venting on his part? Like he's going to go smash a bat and he pulls it up and he sees Molitor. No, I can't. He pulls up Yount. No, I can't.
Might have had something
Schroeder,
to do.
All right.
Yeah, might have had something to do with I was calling the game for him that day. Maybe that was it. Yeah, he didn't mess around. I love the guy. He's you play with guys. You catch him. You're with him a lot. And people say, did you know he was going to be a pitching coach back those days?
You know what?
No, you didn't. It's. You didn't think he had the temperament. I mean, he could lose it a little bit, and certainly he's been able to handle that. And the Brewers have had they have a few former Brewers that are pitching coaches. Not Juan Nieves.
Yeah.
I didn't ever figure he to be a pitching coach. Ray Searage with the Pirates. Bob McClure with the Phillies. So something about I guess the Brewer lineage on the mound. You get some pretty good pitching coaches, but Bob's done a terrific job here in Chicago. He's got a great reputation around the league.
How about that? Arrieta retires the first 8 and he walks Davies. And the Brewers have their first base runner, and it'll bring up VR. 2-0 Cubs. We're in the 3rd inning, chatting with Bill Schroeder from Brewers television. So you're off to Seattle for the weekend. Cubs will head to Colorado. Do you like interleague play?
I do like it. I like interleague play. I guess there's no real way to, level the playing field with interleague play. Now, you guys had only 2 interleague games for a long, long stretch, right? I mean,
yes.
And then all of a sudden you get them in a row. But I don't think it's going anywhere. I think that there's a big debate on whether interleague play is good. It was great in the beginning. I don't know how many fans enjoy it now, but I like going to Seattle. I miss the American League ballparks, actually.
Brewers, a longtime member of the American League. There's VR. It's a rainbow out towards Caesar. And that'll end the top of the 3rd. Midway in the 3rd, Cubs 2, Brewers nothing. Bannerman's Sports Grill to see the complete list of the CSN bars of the game presented by Coors Light. Visit csnchicago.com. Glad to have Bill Schroeder with us here for another half inning. And you have a long-standing relationship with Joe Madden, who spent 31 years in the Angels organization, where you ended your major league career before he took over in Tampa Bay. What do you remember about Joe?
Joe just had an inner confidence about him. He was a roving catching instructor back in those days. I was with the Angels 1989 and 1990, and he kind of would float around the minor leagues. He'd show up at the Big A back in those days in Anaheim, the California Angels back in those days, and he would work with Lance Parrish and I. He would work on some fundamentals, the big wheel. I was a backup catcher to Lance back in those days, and he would come in and just give you a couple of things that you might want to work on, and he would make suggestions for you to make some of these adjustments, and he would do it in a way. And I have a feeling he does this with the Cubs ball club. Do it in a way where he makes you feel like it's your idea, and you buy into it. But he had an inner confidence and just had a way with him about people. He was a leader back then, and certainly has really done a good job here wherever he's been, Tampa or here with the Cubs.
JD and I had a chance to chat with Joe just about every day, and I can't tell you how many times he has said that all the years he spent in the minor leagues with the Angels, it all mattered, and that he could not have done this job without all that experience. 1-2, Caesar.
Yeah, it's amazing his recall, and he'll talk about decisions he makes now based on things that happened when he was a Double-A manager or an instructor in the Angels organization, or even a scout. His sense of players and how they react to situations. All of that informs who he is now. It's pretty interesting.
Shallow center and a base hit for Matt Caesar. We'd be remiss, Bill, if we didn't ask you about your ball club. Kind of doing what the Cubs did a few years ago. We were talking last night. Pretty good farm system, and starting to see some products like Arcia.
Yeah, well,
to the big
it all started last year around the trading deadline with Doug Melvin making some moves. The Brewers had some players that playoff contenders were looking for, filling up the minor league system. When the season started last year, the Brewers had one of the, according to the experts, one of the worst minor league systems as far as top prospects go. But there are some now who say at this point Brewers are number 1 or number 2. So I guess that's the goal for the team this year.
Kris Bryant, deep left, and gone. He got it up into the jet stream, and it's 4-0. That's number 29 for Kris.
Probably should have got that one inside a little bit more, huh?
Didn't quite get it in, but Zach Davies is one of those guys the Brewers picked up at the trading deadline last year in that Gerardo Parra deal, and he's been tremendous. And just got one out over the plate a little bit. You can't make mistakes to this offense. I mean, you guys know that better than anybody. And the Brewers have made some in this series, and they paid for it.
Home run replay as Bryant goes deep. Here is Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah, this is our third look at Davies. First 2 really good.
Will shift a lot. We've talked about that as well as VR makes the play.
But you asked about Orlando Arcia. I mean, the guy's big league ready as far as defense goes. I mean, he was ready last year, but they decided to bring him up. VR, they moved him over to third base. He's really made that adjustment nicely. But Arcia, as you guys know, and JD, it's going to take him a while to get used to major league pitching, and you can see that they're making adjustments on him, as the series goes on here since he's been called up, and he's going to have to make those adjustments. But as far as defense goes, he's ready to be a very good major league shortstop.
1-0 on Ben Zobrist, who's playing right today. Cubs got 2 in the first, 2 more here in the third on the Bryant home run. A breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-1. Russell on deck. There it is.
The guy I'm kind of bullish on is Hernan Perez.
Yeah.
I like the way he plays the game.
Yeah, he came over from Detroit last year. He wasn't playing at all. He was one of those Miguel Cabrera disciples. He watched him on the bench. And with the Tigers, they let him go. The Brewers picked him up. It took him a while to get going because he didn't have any at-bats, with the Tigers. And had a good season last year. The Brewers took him off the roster. He elected to stay with Milwaukee. Went down to the minor leagues, and since he's come up, Craig Counsell can't keep him out of lineup. He's been very good no matter where he plays. He's a shortstop by trade, third base. You can play him at second. Out in right field, he's got a terrific throwing arm from right field, and he's been a pretty consistent hitter as well.
Well, that's the other thing about Joe Madden is he really encourages versatility. And Kris Bryant, a lot of managers who would not have moved him off of third base, but he did it very early. When he came up last year, Kris plays left, right, played an inning of short. He can play first. In National League style ball in particular, that is a huge advantage.
Well, it's almost a necessity when you have an 7-8 man bullpen. I mean, every one of your guys on the bench, except for maybe your backup catcher, you got to play all over the place. That's the way the game is these days.
Strike on Russell. He knocked in a run with a first inning single.
I guess JD careers for pitchers would be a lot longer back in those days when if you had 7-8 men bullpen. I remember breaking camp one year when the Brewers elected to go with 11 pitchers. I mean,
now
that was
13.
That was crazy back in those days. 5 starters, 5 relievers.
Yeah, and you can go further back in time and find 9-man pitching staffs being the norm.
Right.
I think the Cubs had a 9-man bullpen for a day or two earlier this year.
The most important part of your club, some would say, right? The bullpen.
In the hands of Russell. Foul it out of play.
Craig Counsell, to your assessment. I mean, this is obviously not a whole lot of fun for him to go through this.
Yeah, he wants to win, but I think he's the perfect guy to get, to steer this ship through this tough time. Started last year. He learned a lot. He relied a lot on his coaching staff, and he's put together a very good coaching staff as far as coaches that are good teachers. And it's going to be tough for a while. I mean, the organization has said we're looking at 18, 19 as far as being back into legitimate contention. Maybe sooner. Who knows? It depends on how things go. But Council's been terrific. He's really good with the media. He doesn't get frustrated. He's willing to come up on his players once in a while when they continue over and over again to do the wrong things. I mean, not physical errors, but just not concentrating and making mental mistakes. And those are the kind of things that are important. A lot of managers fail to do that these days. And nothing wrong with pulling a guy and benching him if he continues to make the same mistakes.
Well, that's the advantage if you're looking for a silver lining of having a bad club. It's a time to create a culture.
Right.
Sometimes when you're trying to win, you live with a bad character, a bad actor, a guy doesn't play the game the way you would prefer him to play because he might help you win. But when you're rebuilding, that's the time to create a culture and say, okay, here's how we're going to play the game. If you don't want to play it that way, we'll find somebody else who can.
And most winning teams do it that way, right?
Yeah, and then you create this approach that as the new guys come in, they go, okay, see how it goes here. In theory, anyway.
Yeah. Well, you have to develop leadership somewhere when you have such a young club. I mean, none of these guys, I mean, really, when you think about a lot of the young players, I mean, they're not going to be in the leadership role for sure.
Deep left, Braun is on the warning track. Trill trying to find room, and he can't make the play in and out of the vines. And it's going to be a long single. Well, that was tricky. Trying to figure out, did it land in the basket? Did he catch it? Well, neither actually happened. And that is a single for Addison Russell. Wow. How did it not get out? He missed it by a foot.
Russell missed it by a foot, and Braun missed it by a foot as well. Obviously not an easy play. Tough sky overhead, drifting back towards that wall.
And not an easy play for the base runner either.
Yeah, exactly. Tough read for Zobrist as well.
I'll bring up Soler. Cubs lead 4-0. Chris Bryant adding to that 2-0 lead with a 2-run homer earlier here in the third. Craig Counsell would like to get innings out of Davies. Two batters start. Chase Anderson got hurt the other night. Coming in and making the grab from right is Flores. Jimmy Nelson found a way to get through 5 last night after a 49-pitch first inning. Davies already now just around 60 pitches. So even with the big bullpen, teams run into this situation where you don't have a lot of guys available.
And it's unusual. I mean, Jimmy Nelson has been struggling for a while now. I mean, command, in and out of the strike zone, and pitch counts get high. And I think the Brewers are going to be forced to make a move here after today's game. Chase Anderson, question whether he's going to be able to make a start. They may put him in the bullpen. We'll see what they elect to do. But yeah, I mean, your bullpen, most important part of your pitching staff these days, except for you have a starting rotation like the Chicago Cubs.
And that has allowed Joe to protect that bullpen. The starters have gone so deep. Always replace your divot.
With care.
Very nice. One strike on Contreras. I don't know how much you've seen of Contreras, but he's learning day by day and earning more playing time because the bat plays.
Yeah, and as far as a catching prospect, right? I mean, Joe's moving him in slowly. I mean, learning the pitching staff, learning how to call a game. Does a decent job out and left from what we've seen, and he takes a pretty healthy hack up at the plate.
They're gonna. Zobrist just got in, and Craig Counsell might want another look at it. That was close. Missed him.
Yeah, reaching for the player as opposed to dropping the tag near the bag. Might have had him if he did that.
Did he get a shoelace? Does that count?
Well, if he did, they'll be able to see it. It might take a while.
Didn't they change over the winter the rule that the lace on the glove is no longer part of the glove for a tag? Pretty sure of that.
I would love to hear that ruling. The lace of the glove got the lace of the shoe.
They will
No
not
challenge.
That's how close it was. One ball, one strike. Into right and a base hit. Zobrist will score. Contreras has a double. It's 5-0.
Like a high percentage of the walks that have been issued by Brewer pitching in this series have come around to score for the Cubs. This ball is what, 6 inches, a foot outside, well off the plate. So when you first came to the big leagues as a catcher, tough adjustment, or were you pretty polished? I mean,
no, well, nobody's really polished. You know, I mean, as far as technically behind home blocking balls and throwing, I mean, that was all right. But I had Ted Simmons on the Brewers that kind of brought me along as far as calling a game and kind of managing the game on the field. Now you're sitting here as a rookie and you got Mahler and Young out there, and I'm going to manage the infield. I mean, come on, that's your job, Ted. But Ted Simmons taught me a lot about calling a game, why I would call a certain pitch in a certain situation. My locker was right next to him, and a day did not go by where he didn't sit me down after a game and talk through a game, whether I was catching or not. And he expected me to be paying attention even when I wasn't playing. So learned a lot.
Resource.
Learned a lot. Learned a lot from Ted Simmons. I owe him a lot for a lot of the things that the philosophies that you use on the field and in the broadcast booth.
You had some gamers back in the 80s, the Brewers, man.
Yeah.
Jim Gantner, Dale Swain, Pete Vukovich.
Yeah, huh?
You mentioned Boz, Stormin Gorman. They didn't take a lot of grief.
No. They were hard on each other, too. They really were.
Fly ball to right. Flores will make the grab. Don't worry, Bill. Next time JD's not working, you guys are. You can steal him for an inning.
All right.
Thanks for helping out, Rock.
Yeah, thanks for coming over, Bill.
Glad I got you guys some runs. Thanks for everything.
I owe you a bunch, too, for getting me started. 5-0.
All right.
Think E-Click Lending with rates at all-time lows. Don't wait. Lock in your low rate today. With E-Click Lending, you never pay lending fees. Point, click, save. E-Click Lending. Comfortable 5-0 lead. Arrieta has allowed one base runner. That was a walk to the pitcher Davies. That's it. To this point, Jeanette flies to Soler in left.
And some early swings by the Brewers here today, too, allowing Jake to be very efficient.
Hey, Tuesday, August 30th, the Cubs will welcome in the Pirates at 7:05. Up to the first 10,000 early arriving adults 21 and over receive Cubs wine cork sunglasses presented by Barefoot Wine. For more info and ticket availability, visit Cubs.com.
Styling. I mentioned last time Braun was up there that he's got this 730 something slugging percentage since the All-Star break, second best in the league. Do you know who's first?
Slugging since the break.
Since the break.
DJ LeMay.
There's Manny Tomas, 750 something, bunch of home runs. He's turning out to be a pretty good hitter.
Arrieta will underhand flip to Rizzo.
Speculation coming out of the desert that Dave Stewart may be in trouble. Second-year general manager of the Diamondbacks.
Tomas, 2 homers, 6 RBIs in their 13-5 win over the Mets last night.
He has 7 multi-home run games this year. Tops in the big leagues.
You know, I was just going to mention our friends. They were contest winners.
Yeah, that's Emma.
That is baby Emma. She's 8 months old, and they visited the booth before the game. She was asleep the entire time.
She was out. She wasn't just asleep, man. She was completely zonked.
She might lead the league in terms of quality baby.
Yeah, it's quality baby right there. She's smelling some dogs and onions. It's getting a little appetite working. Getting a little hot.
2-0, and Perez takes all the way right down the middle. 2-1. Arrieta looking for his 15th win. He won 22 last year, winning the Cy Young.
He gets 15 today. He will tie Steven Strasburg for the top spot in the National League.
Jay Happ has won 17, including 11 in a row. Blue Jays beat the Yanks last night 7-4.
It's Jay, don't call me J.A. Happ. He was really good second half of last year.
Second walk issued.
Coming after 2 are out and nobody on. Davies the pitcher last inning. Now Perez, who is a threat to run. Probably less so in a 5-run game with Chris Carter in the batter's box and the wind blowing out.
On Carter. Oh, 2.
Well, Slider off the plate, or maybe elevated fastball here, I would guess. Looks like plan B. A good emphatic ask by Contreras. He's one of the more aggressive appealers in the game. Trying to sell it. Usually doesn't influence the umpire, but as a pitcher, you appreciate the effort.
It goes on the 1-2. It will be the 22nd steal for Perez. And they have a runner in scoring position for the first time.
Yeah, I think that we talked about them not likely running with Carter in the box, but once he got into a 2-strike count, that's going to suppress power a good bit.
He's gone full 3-2.
Yeah, so you create a situation for Craig Counsell. We go, all right, my big guy's down in the count. And he strikes out a lot, but he also takes a lot of walks. If we steal this base, so it opens up first base. Maybe Arrieta tries to get him to chase out of the zone. My guy can work a walk or get back into a full count and maybe do some damage.
Back-to-back 2-out walks.
Just really good recognition there by Carter. It was unlikely that Jake was going to give in to him in that situation. Jake's last start was against the Cardinals. It was a 13-2 Cub win. He went 5 2/3, allowed 4 hits, 1 run. The only run, a home run to Steven Piscotty. It's the only home run Jake has allowed in this ballpark this year.
Swing and a miss. And if you're the Brewers, that's probably how you're thinking you're going to get back into this game. There's an atmosphere that would support offense today. Warm temperatures, wind blowing out. 1-1.
Yeah, and it's a kind of atmosphere as a pitcher. You might tend to be a little defensive at times, and that can come back and bite you in the backside, though, because you start to nibble, you end up walking a couple, then you have to give in, and what might have been a solo home run turns into a 3-run shot.
Out in the right center, that's trouble, and it is gone. So there you go, 3-run homer at Neuenhuis. And the Brewers are back in the game.
Yeah, and that's precisely what happened. 2 outs, nobody on. A little tentative with Perez, certainly with Carter after the stolen base. So tip of the cap to Craig Counsell, turning Perez loose to steal second base after the count went to 2 strikes on Carter. I think that influenced Jake the rest of that sequence. And then Neuenhuis gets the fastball. This is the first hit of the game for the Brewers. And it's a 3-run home run. It's your 4th home run replay, number 11 for Neuenhuis.
It's a 5-3 ball game now. Maldonado cuts and misses.
And no doubt Jake will lament the fastball he threw to Neuenhuis, but what will really get him was his approach to the previous 2 hitters.
Yeah, you never say when Jake's on the mound you can feel that coming, but it is the kind of day where
this park has played pitcher friendly most of the year.
Bryant's got it. the inning is over. So back-to-back 2-out walks followed by a big 3-run homer, and it's now a 2-run ball game in the 4th.
Cubs leading 5-3 here in the 4th inning it is, and this is your Coors Light Game Report, a special interview with a couple members of the United States parachute team, the Leapfrogs. We've got TJ Umdahl, I hope I said that one right, and Brandon Peterson. I know I got that one right, and these guys, I heard a lot of oohs and ahs from the crowds. Wow moment as you guys flew in there from your parachutes high in the sky, 3,000 feet up. And I know it was cool for us to watch you, but what kind of an experience was that like for you guys, who I'm sure get to do this in a lot of really cool places?
Yeah, you know, but every place isn't Wrigley Field, and it was an honor to be able to, you know, fly the United States flag over Wrigley Field. It was awesome.
Yeah, personally for me, it was a great honor. I ended up flying in the David Warson flag. He's a teammate of mine that we served together back in the day, and unfortunately 4 years ago he gave his life for the country. So it was a huge honor and a privilege for me to be able to fly that flag in.
Guys, thanks a lot. We're going to cut this short. We're in the way here of the progress of the game, guys.
It's all right. That's a Leapfrog.
That's right. Thank you, Kelly. Low and outside on Arrieta. 5-3 Cubs, bottom 4.
You were asking earlier about hitting pitchers, Silver Slugger Award candidates.
Yes.
In terms of on-base plus slugging, Jake Arrieta leads the way.
Oh, he does.
797. Patrick Corbin is hitting for a higher average, 304.
Jake is 0 for 2.
A couple of long balls, a high batting average. Yeah, I would say he would be the leading candidate for that award right now.
Well, it is something on his list. Would love to win that award. By the way, that Neuenhuis home run, his 11th this year. 5 have been against the Cubs.
Well, I was thinking that very thing.
Yep.
Went in the press dining room and a nice refreshing cup of fruit. And as I was walking back, that struck me. I thought, Neuenhuis seems to have done a lot of his damage against the Cubs.
You're right. Changeup. Swing and a miss. Shot in the alley. Caesar makes the turn on his way to second. He's got a double.
How about Matt Caesar? Yep.
For Matt.
That 2-home-run game on the homestand, I guess it was Friday against the Cardinals. Continues to impress, whether it's off the bench or in a starting role. He's had a lot of don't forget about me moments this year. Also a lot of make the manager look smart moments too, when he uses them in the pinch or gives him a starting assignment and he comes through.
And a miss, 1-1. Single homer, 2 RBIs, 2 runs for Bryant.
Changeup for Davies. That's his swing and miss pitch. And look where number 2 is. I mean, that is right over the middle of the plate, thigh high, and he still gets a swing and miss on it. Gives you some idea how good that arm action is.
Two and two.
Martin Maldonado, I'd be inclined to call more of those.
Ground ball foul. Yeah, he did throw him another one.
Very few guys can throw a changeup right there to a major league hitter and get away with it. Usually it's fading out of the zone.
Figure out how to beat Bryant, who has beaten them twice. "15 homers against this division." Got another hit. Caesar scores. It's a double. He is a triple away from the cycle. And we're only in the 4th inning. 6-3.
Well, you know, they go out there, they have the meeting, they threw him a lot of pitches. You can tell they're just grinding, trying to figure out a way to put him away. They opt for the breaking pitch. Davies does not execute the pitch. It's a little lazy breaker. Belt high over the middle of the plate. He's lucky he didn't hit it 500 feet.
Rizzo double and a run in the 1st, ground out in the 3rd. 6-3 here in the 4th.
Movement in the Brewer bullpen.
Swing and a miss on a changeup that never quite got to its intended target. Rob Scahill, Chicago area native, is up.
First 3 games of this series, the Brewers have gotten 10 2/3 innings out of their starting pitchers. Anderson had to leave because he got whacked by a comebacker. He only lasted 2/3. Garza went 5, Nelson went 5. And Nelson really had to battle to get through 5. Also, no doubt hoping that Davies would be the guy who could take it deep into the ball game. He's been awfully good. He struggled last time out, but that interrupted a good long run of quality work for him.
Carlos Torres protecting the bullpen catcher down in the Brewer bullpen. He just fielded that one hopper and fired it into the upper deck. To make sure the fans way upstairs had a souvenir.
Possibly be that his relationship with the fans down by the bullpen isn't really good right now.
It is
just
possible.
a guess. He might be taking some heckling.
Hold to right. Fair ball. Bryant home. Rizzo to second with another double. 7-3.
Triple double. Caesar, Bryant, Rizzo, back to back to back 2 base hits. Anthony, 86 RBIs now, tied for 3rd. With Jay Bruce trailing Daniel Murphy by 1. Nolan Arenado leads the way with 97. I was watching Torres during that last pitch, and he was acting like an infielder down there, protecting the catcher. He was kind of on the balls of his feet, moving forward as the pitch was being delivered. He's ready to make a play. When Anthony hit, he actually took a couple steps to his right as if he was going to pursue it. He is fully engaged.
For those hung up on Chris Bryant losing RBI opportunities because he's batting second, he has scored now 95 runs this year. Guys like to score runs too. They don't mind knocking them in.
Yeah, it's not as sexy a stat for a middle of the order type guy, a run producer. But as you referenced the other day with Addison Russell's sage comments the other day, RBIs are a function of opportunity. So when you really evaluate guys, you're looking at on base, you're looking at slugging. Weighted on base, maybe the best number out there.
Bryant has knocked in 3 as it is today. 3 hits, 3 runs, 3 RBIs. called strike 3. So Zobrist is out. It's not always the case, but for the most part, your elite hitters don't love discussing why they should be moved down in the order. Usually that conversation is they should go higher, right?
Get more turns.
Yeah. Russell in the air to left. Braun makes a catch, and the inning is over. Cubs get 2 of those runs back. Lead is 4, 7-3 after 4.
At 7:05 and up to the first 10,000 early arriving fans will receive a Cubs player decal presented by Citgo, which would be multiple decals. For more information and ticket availability, visit Cubs.com. Well, welcome. A man at his first Cub game. Beverly, Richard, Jim, and Linda are here celebrating Beverly's 76th birthday. The very first Cub game was 1955 at County Stadium against the Milwaukee Braves. Happy birthday, Beverly.
Changeup outside on Ramon Flores, or that was a sinking fastball. He took something off of. Ball 2.
You ever umpire?
Yes.
In Little League or high school or anything?
Yes, I did.
You enjoy it?
No.
Parents yell at you?
Yep.
Parents.
I ejected one coach.
Love it.
Ball hit down the first base line, hit the chalk behind the bag. I called it fair. He would not let up, saying that it's a foul ball if it hits the line.
So, oh, no, you didn't even know the rule?
No. I was probably 14 or 15 at the time, and I just said, that's it, you're out.
I love it.
Really enjoyed it, I have to tell you.
Of course.
Third walk issued by Arrieta. Fourth walk since the third, I should say.
You should have said, you're out of here and don't come back until you know the rules, pal.
Orlando Arcia will bat for the pitcher Davies. You?
And you know, I may have done a game or two here in youth league stuff. I refereed high school basketball when I was a minor league player. It was one of my off-season gigs.
Bruce Benedict, right? Was
Bruce Benedict did like SEC stuff.
Long-time
right?
college basketball referee, former Major League catcher. Two strikes on the rookie. And the pitch. It's outside. Contreras fires to first. Out. Boy, I saw Flores dance a little too far off the bag. And Wilson nailed him.
Well, we've seen it with Jonathan Villar getting a little sloppy on the bases here. Flores takes that big secondary lead, gets caught flat-footed. Wilson Contreras nails him. Great throw and tag by Rizzo. It's inexcusable. Down 4.
Yeah, this is the kind of day you got to put on the brakes a little bit with the base running, just because that wind is blowing out.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting a good secondary, but you've got to be prepared to get back. You have to know that Contreras likes to throw to the bases. You know, fastball like that. If you read swing, guy starts to swing a little bit and then checks it, maybe. Ball in the dirt that gets picked clean by the catcher, maybe. But pitch like that, you got to be breaking back to the bag.
Ball 4, another walk.
Devil of a time commanding that fastball here the last couple of innings.
There's VR, the shortstop.
You know, the Carter walk last inning, you could say, well, that was a be careful in this situation walk. Everything else is just Jake having a hard time commanding the fastball, commanding anything in those particular at bats. VR certainly capable of bunting for a hit. He's done that 6 times this year. That puts him among the league leaders. Gets a lot of infield hits with his speed.
Chris Bosio will head out. And we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on Mulberry Cooperative Telephone in Clinton and Tippecanoe counties in Indiana.
We talked about it at the beginning of the ball game. This is the first time this year that Contreras and Arrieta have worked together. That may be part of what's going on here today. Not so much the fingers that Contreras is putting down, but sometimes just a different look for a pitcher can be a little unsettling. It's a different guy back there, sets up a little bit a different way, something you have to get used to. And by no means am I pinning this on Contreras. It's just a different look.
So 1-0 on switch hitter VR. Strike 1-1.
As good as Jake has been again this year, that's one big difference from last year. The walk rate much higher this year than last.
1-2.
I think big picture, we talked about Counsell hoping to get innings out of Davies here today. Same thing for Joe with Arrieta pitching, heading into a series at Coors Field. Have as many fresh bullpen arms as possible when you go up there to play arena ball.
Ooh. Arrieta thought it was strike 3.
For good reason. Quality pitch. On the plate, borderline in terms of the height.
Two really good pitches. 3-2.
Either one of these could have been called a strike. And the slider at the bottom of the knees, the two-seam fastball back to the inside corner. Really starting to hate the Drake.
Garcia, the runner at first. Not running, swing and a miss. He got it. The Cubs are proud to salute the men and women of the United States military. Wednesday, August 31st, the Cubs have specially priced tickets in the Terrace Reserved outfield section. Each ticket includes a special Cubs military cap. For more information, visit Cubs.com/special group nights. Jeanette, strike 1. Top 3 VR. Jeanette, Braun, a combined 0 for 7 against Arrieta today.
Still has allowed just the one hit, the home run to Neuenhuis. Five walks issued by Jake. That ties the season high. He's had a number of 4 walk games, and the issue, of course, is the pitch count.
Line into left center. Caesar over to cut it off. Throw towards second. Ooh, that was close. Rizzo came in behind Jeanette. It'll be a double. And Arcia holding at third.
Joe asking for a little time so they can review this one. And we'll see if Anthony's able to slap that tag on Jeanette before he gets to the base. Close. I think he was in there. Good hands by Baez to pick and then flip.
We're in the 5th inning of a game that feels like it could be one of those 12-9 shootouts.
Yeah, well, look who the hitter is too.
Yep.
So if you think at all there's a chance that he was out, you're going to challenge, but that's not the word they're getting from the video room.
Big moment here in this ball game as Brewers try to get back into it for a second time. First time was a 3-run homer by Neuenhuis.
Couple of ground outs for Braun today, second base, and then back to the mound.
One ball, one strike. Ground ball. Russell, nice play. A little bit of a tricky hop. He makes it look easy. And Arrieta is out of the 5th. Worked around a couple of walks and a double. 7-3. Screamer off the bat of Chris Bryant. In game 2 of the doubleheader. 5 innings, the most they got out of any starter. There's Rob Scahill.
Series beginning for the Brewers in Seattle tomorrow. Probably be looking to add an arm, as Bill Schroeder pointed out. Scahill, 20 games, 4.43 ERA. Second appearance in this series.
Those 3 runs. Game 2 the other night.
Fastball, slider. Not exclusively, but almost. Occasionally a curveball.
Willowbrook High School graduate Rob Scahill. Home of Bradley University and an 8th round pick of the Rockies in 2009. 6'2", 220. 1-2. Happy 80th, Diana McGivern of New Lenox. Happy 90th birthday, Evelyn Miller. One-time season ticket holder.
Hill throws both 2- and 4-seam fastballs. 91 to 95.
Strike 3 called. 1 away.
time Solera struck out this afternoon, both looking. Davies got him in the first. Called third strike changeup. Time the fastball from Scahill.
The pitch to Contreras is a breaking ball, strike called. Red Sox have a late lead in Detroit, 3-2. They're in the bottom of the 8th. The other game going on currently. Buchholz and Boyd, the starters. They both went 6, gave up 1 run each. Two more hits for Mookie Betts. One and two. Two more hits. Miguel Cabrera hitting .310 on the year. And he has picked up his 1,000th career RBI with the Tigers. 1,000 knocked in with Detroit. Miguel Cabrera is the active batting average leader in baseball, .320 for his career. Contreras busting it down the line, but he's out. Follow In Game Live on CSNChicago.com, presented by State Farm. Pitch to Baez. Opposite field, base hit.
If the Cubs can get a little something going here with 2 outs, it'll fall to Arrieta to keep the inning going. They've only been down in order once. That was back in the 2nd. There have not been many innings in this series where they haven't had at least one base runner. It's interesting. You think about the batting crown over the years. A disproportionate number of them have been left-handed batters because so many pitchers are right-handed. But now with extreme shifting and a lot of lefties hitting into that pull shift, I'm curious to see if that starts to turn around a little bit. Altuve's going to run away with it over there in the American League.
What a year he's had.
Batting .364. And Mookie Betts second at .317.
Well on his way to a 3rd consecutive 200-hit campaign for Altuve. VR gets Arrieta, and the inning is over after 5. Cubs 7, Milwaukee 3.
plays on CSN Plus as the Fire travel north to Canada, where they look to heat up against the Montreal Impact. Coverage begins at 6 on CSN Plus. You know how to say goal in French. It would be le goal.
6th inning. Rodon Perez, deep left and gone. 7-4.
Done talking him up.
It's his 11th.
Coupe circuit. He had one major league home run coming into this season. Not a ton of at-bats, 300 and some, but in fewer at-bats this year. He now has 11. Ford home run replay. So Jake had come into the start allowing just 1 home run in this ballpark all year. It came in his last start against the Cardinals. Now the Brewers have gotten him twice here today.
Ball 1 to Carter. Bud and Elaine Fox from Palm Harbor, Florida are here today, sitting behind home plate. Happy 64th, Gene McWilliams. Ball bounces over the home dugout. Only good news about that home run was it came from the 4th hitter, not the number 3 batter, Braun, who batted with 2 men on in the 5th. If you're going to give him up today, do it with nobody on base. Hmm. 3-2. I guess it was a little low. Brewers have more runs than hits. They have 3 hits and 4 runs, 2 homers and a double.
A bit of a frustrated fastball by Arrieta right there. He thought he had a strike on the previous one that was down. Carter worked the walk last time, so he just channeled that 3-2 heater. You see right there in the middle of the grid.
It's Jake's 6th walk. Here's the guy who got him for a 3-run homer in the 4th, Neuenhuis.
It's going to get him going in the Cubs bullpen.
Spencer Patton brought back yesterday. Cubs made a couple of roster moves. Joe Smith, Chris Coughlin going to the disabled list. And 1 the count. Homer and a walk to start the inning. has a sign. Contreras sets up on the outside corner. The pitch missed a spot by a bunch. 2-2. Wayne Boyer up in the Brewer bullpen.
Stuff has been fine here for Jake today. There's just the command.
He had off the mound. He'll have time to get new and ice. Carter advances to second.
He was thinking about taking a shot at Carter at second base, but after the mishandle, first was his only option.
Maldonado with a runner at second. And one out. Here we go. It's a strike. Premier pitching matchup on paper. Late tonight in San Francisco, Jacob deGrom and Madison Bumgarner. deGrom 7-5 with a .230 for the Mets. Bumgarner 11-7 with a .211 for the scuffling Giants.
Giants need their ace to step up tonight.
Maldonado, did you see that? I think it went off his foot, but he waited. It was like a delayed reaction as that ball ended up in fair territory down toward third. Then he did the, oh, it hit me. Ooh, that might have been a sell job. And it worked. One almost hit him. Third time Jake has walked 6 in a game in his career. It was his reaction that was funky. Took him like 2 seconds. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Strikeouts today, only 3 for Jake. And it's Flores now with 2 outs.
He hasn't been able to get the jump on many hitters, so he hasn't created that anxiety where he gets him chasing out of the zone.
Downstairs, ball 1. Ball 2 and throw to third. Ooh. Carter just got in. That's a big risk against Contreras.
No, that's a bad play. With 2 outs, down 3 runs, he got away with it. He's got no business going for third base here.
And he did get in. Barely. Past ball charged to Contreras. Three and 1. He is in danger of setting a new career high for walks. He's already tied that career high with 6 allowed. He's 3-1 on Flores. Keon Broxton is on deck. 3-2. Big crowd making some noise as Arrieta gets his sign. 3-2, ball 4.
Hard time finding the zone with that sinker, and the Brewers hitters, to their credit, laying off some pitches that others might hack at. It's a patient bunch. They draw a lot of walks. They strike out a lot too, but I think that's a function primarily of all the deep counts. It's not like they're just up there flailing away.
Arrieta gets a nice hand as he exits. We'll be back in a moment.
From Kids Sundays at Wrigley Field to Clark's Crew and baseball summer camps throughout the Chicago area, there are many ways to build lifelong Cub memories with your kids. Visit Cubs.com/kids to learn all about our Cubs Kids offerings.
Midas Tire and Auto Service call to the pen brings on Spencer Patton.
He leads the club in arriving, right? 4th stint with the team. Only pitched 9 times. Not a big body of work here. Spectacular work down at AAA. 0.77 ERA. Big strikeout numbers. 57 strikeouts and 35 innings of work.
Swing and a miss, 1-1 on pitch hitter Broxton.
Charged with only 3 earned runs down at Iowa and has not allowed a home run there.
Patton's hometown is Kinmundy, Illinois, 90 minutes east of St. Louis. Taken for ball 2, 2-1. Take has been the verb of the day for the Brewers. They've already walked 7 times. Three and 1.
About that. 2 hits off the bench, both long ones.
Jake in line for his 15th win. He's got a long way to go. Flores runs on the 3-2. He walked him. And the bases are loaded.
Tough day to play the field. He's out there in this heat a long time on their feet without a lot of activity. Tough to maintain your edge.
Pitch to VR with the bases loaded is outside, ball 1. Leadoff homer Hernan Perez, then the walk to Carter. After 2 were out, Flores and Broxton drawing walks.
VR, now the slugger, he's hit 9 home runs this year, 6 as a left-handed batter. Far more plate appearances from this side than the right side. You start putting guys in 2-0, 3-1 counts, and you see those slugging numbers go up.
Sure, for Chris Bosio, it's just a simple reminder to be aggressive. Throw to first. Safe. Oh, another close play.
And I think it was Chris Bosio saying, hey, let's take a shot at base runner at Broxton down there at first base. We've seen that a number of times this year after a visit, the pickoff play.
Well, this would be huge. And Joe's going to challenge. 6th inning, why not? Out. I think they got him.
Craig Counsell's head might explode.
It's our Foresight Technology replay review.
This is high anxiety for Broxton. He's going to not to be fitted for some goat horns if this call gets overturned.
Flores at second. He knows he got picked off in the 5th.
Yeah, it's not very artistic, this ball game, is it? The Cubs keep walking people and the Brewers keep making mistakes on the bases.
I'm not looking anymore. My first thought was out. The more I look, the more unsure I am.
What's that line? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Or the other way around?
The original line or the one by our former president? think it's, yeah, fool me once.
Shame on you.
Shame on me? Fool me twice, shame on you. I don't
Shame
know.
on me if I get fooled
Too hot.
twice.
Don't make me think.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Oh, yeah, okay. Call will stand.
Lucky. Keeps the inning alive for a pretty potent hitter in VR. High average, high on base, got decent slugging numbers.
So the moral of that story was they were fooled once. It was shame on them. No, shame on us.
Yeah. But if you get caught twice, it's like,
Shame on them.
they didn't learn their lesson.
I got you. The 3-1. He walked him. That will give BR an RBI, and it's 7-5.
Wow. Tried to let up. He's not trusting his fastball right now. Doesn't want to throw it in, so he's trying to trick him.
The bullpen's quiet. Oh man, he's gonna get out of it. I was surprised he swung at it. So Patton walks in a run that'll be charged to Arrieta, but avoids further damage. We won't get fooled again. 7-5. transportation. The Cubs offer a free bike check, and there it is, now located near the Addison Red Line station. For drivers, the Cubs provide free remote parking and shuttle service on night and weekend games. For information, visit the A to Z guide on Cubs.com. Blaine Boyer, 2-run ball game.
Veteran right-hander on for the 48th time. He's pitched to a 3.21 ERA. Doesn't strike many out at all. You'll see there are just 21 strikeouts and 53 in the third. Does keep the ball in the ballpark. He's allowed just a couple of home runs.
Foul by Matt Caesar.
Top three in the Cubs order today, doing a lot of damage. 7 out of 9. 4 extra base hits. 5 extra base hits. 6 extra base hits as I continue to peruse my scorecard. Wow.
This Bryant is a triple away from the cycle, and he is on deck.
5 doubles, a home run, and a couple of singles for that triumvirate.
Earlier this year, Bryant did something no player had ever done before. 3 homers, 2 doubles. Boyer can't get it, but Jeanette will.
Hitting next, third baseman, Chris Bryant.
The thinking cycle. This ballpark does not yield a lot of 3 base hits. Certainly has the speed to do it. Slice one into that right field corner.
Ball 1.
You can tell just the way he's taking pitches how locked in he is. Ground ball through the middle, and the big one, and the hanging breaking ball, 2-base hit. Oh for 2 yesterday, hit by pitch on 2 occasions. First 2 times up yesterday. They're trying to crowd him, and that seems to be the plan here as well.
3-0. Will 7 runs be enough to win this game?
Does that question require an answer?
Not necessarily. Only if you.
I'm mulling it over. I don't know. It might be, but I suggest the Cubs put a couple more points on the board.
3-1.
We're 35 years of age. 6'3", 245. Born in Atlanta.
High fly to center. Way back toward the wall. Gone! I'll do you better than a triple. Single homer, double homer for Bryant.
Look at the body language of Maldonado with his head cocked to the side. He's got no idea what to try. Wow, what a show he is putting on here today.
Well, already twice this year, he's had more total bases than you'd get in a cycle.
Towering, majestic home run for Bryant.
And that is number 30. Ford home run replay.
Ties him for the league lead, does it not? With Arenado.
And the Rockies are off.
I bet you tomorrow's pregame features a graphic of third baseman.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
With a catchy title like "How Hot Is the Hot Corner?"
We're having our production meeting on the air. Yeah, it's good.
Big Riz with a couple of doubles today. He leads the league in that department now. Moved ahead of Daniel Murphy. He wanted to go back-a-back.
Miss, strike 3. Is there a pitcher in the history of Major League Baseball whose hands are higher from the set position than Blaine Boyd?
I don't know. You've been all over the place. Braves, Cardinals, Diamondbacks, Mets, Pirates, Cardinals, Royals, Hanshin Tigers, Pods, Twins, Brewers.
Two and 0 to Zobrist. Cubs with 12 hits, out hitting Milwaukee 12-3, but the walks have helped the Brewers hang around. 3 of those walks have come around to score. 9 in all.
Let's see if Zoe decides to turn it loose here on 3-0. Not one you would offer at on 3-0.
Three and 2. Ground ball to Jeanette. With the R behind him. Like Castro and Bryant last year. 8-5, and the air show getting going this weekend a little early here at Wrigley Field today. Number 2 for Bryant today, number 30 on the year. over on Clark, thinking there must be an early show over at Metro. Well, they're waiting in line to get some great Pearl Jam posters and other merchandise ahead of the big weekend here at Wrigley Field for Eddie and the boys. Good stuff. Cubs lead this game as we get into the 7th inning, 8-5. Ryan Braun to lead it off. Caesar in deep center has got it. Braun 0 for 4. Hey, the Cubs are introducing a game-changing new premier experience here at Wrigley Field with seats featuring prime views and access to an exclusive club. The experience will allow fans to enjoy Cubs baseball in a whole new way. Visit CubsPremier.com to join the Premier Client Priority List. Breaking ball catches the outside corner. Perez has had a good day. He's lined to center. He's walked, stolen a base, scored a run, and homered as Zobrist battles his son to make the catch. 2 quick outs. And it's Carter.
And a nice bounce back here by Spencer Patton, getting a chance to start this inning fresh. Jake Arrieta's line today, 5 2/3, 3 hits, 5 runs, 7 walks, 3 strikeouts, 2 home runs, 103 pitches.
Drilled to center, and it's Caesar. Time now for the Mazda 7th inning stretch.
For this afternoon stretch, please direct your attention to the outfield video boards.
All right. Let me hear you. Good and loud. On 1, on 2, on 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Oh, it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Bottom of the 7th. Cubs leading 8-5.
Veteran right-hander working for the 53rd time. Pretty much a strikeout per inning. A lot of cut fastballs from Torres. One scoreless yesterday with a couple of strikeouts. And one of those was this man right here.
Fly to left. Braun is in. Solero for 3. Cut and a miss. It is over in Detroit. 4-3. Tigers have finally got 3 in the bottom of the 8th to win it. Winning run scored on a bases loaded walk.
The walks are going to be the theme of the day in Major League Baseball.
Maybe so.
Quiet day for Jorge. 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts and fly to right.
One and 2. Davies, Scahill, Boyer, Torres. And Milwaukee.
The Brewers are heading to Seattle to face the Mariners. The Mariners have been on a really good roll. In second place in the American League West, blown by Houston, still 6.5 games behind the Rangers. Right in the thick of the things in the wild card race.
Bad roller. It'll be Carter to Torres just in time. Shadubi.
Yeah, this one backs up on him. Shadubi is right. Got into that kitchen, made himself at home. Watching Soler run, I've been watching him since he came off the DL. It's not that he's not running hard, but I like he's not, he's not asking for too much.
Right.
The guy with his history, especially on a ball like that, you try to push it. Can't afford to have that hamstring blow up again.
Contreras has an RBI double today. He cues one on the ground. Carter to end the inning. Off to the 8th we move. Cubs 8, Brewers 5.
8-5 here as we move to the top of the 8th. This is your Coors Light Game Report. Spencer Patton back out on the mound, and he was sitting right next to Travis Wood yesterday when the foul ball went screaming down into the bullpen and did indeed, I confirmed, hit Travis in the knee. And that's the one thing this morning, guys, having talked to Mike Montgomery, that he said he learned very quickly that they're not fooling around back there. Travis Wood got on him the first time he tried to move when that happened, and he said, oh no, you man up, you stand there unless it's coming at your head, and then you're allowed to maybe bend it a little bit one way or another. But he said Travis Wood has been a nice calming influence out there. A funny guy who's really kind of made him feel at home, even with those games and such, if you will.
That game will continue until somebody gets hurt.
You're going to
Mom
keep it
always
up.
said, don't play ball in the house until that vase is broken, right?
Somebody's going to poke an eye out down there.
Patton is still in, and Neuenhuis rips it into the right field corner. Zobrist chases it down. It's a double. Brewers not done yet.
Well, whatever the rest of the league knows about Neuenhuis, clearly the Cubs do not. Continues to do damage against Cub pitching. Home run double here today.
Donato takes a strike.
Craig Counsell knows his guys have to strike quickly, though. With 6 outs to play with, and Aroldis Chapman lurking out there in the Cubs pen.
It's Corey Knebel. Zobrist. Neuenhuis tagging, and he'll get in.
Just looking for outs. They give up bases. They just want outs. So Grimm up in the pen, no Rondon. So clearly Hector's still bothered by that triceps issue.
Flores with a ground ball that will score a run. Go 3-1. It's 8-6. Manny Pena, the backup catcher, will pinch hit.
That will leave just one on the bench for Craig Counsell now. Jake Elmore still available. Maybe you got a new iPhone?
Looks like it. He's already got a Twitter handle. I will have a phone on which to post.
Hashtag quality baby.
The 1-0 is a strike. 1-1. Three-city trip out west. Denver, San Diego, Los Angeles. Rockies, Padres, Dodgers. With an off day next Thursday in LA. 3-1.
Spencer, a 24th round pick of the Royals back in 2011 of SIU Edwardsville. Made his big league debut with the Rangers a couple seasons ago. Made 9 appearances for the Rangers in 2014 with an 0.96. Last year, 27 appearances with the Rangers, had an ERA of 9.
Tenth walk issued by Cubs pitching. How about the 9 spot? The batters have been Davies, Arcia, Broxton, and Pena. 4 plate appearances and all walks.
Might be some kind of a record. And good thing MLB has never adopted my rule.
You walk 10, you lose?
Yeah, it's just game over. You automatically lose.
So double switch time for Joe.
Which begs the question, I don't know if this is easily researched or not. How many times has a team walked 10 in a 9-inning game and won the ball game?
Cubs hoping to find out as Justin Grimm is in. We'll get you the changes when we come back.
It's the Rockies in the Mile High City. Kyle Hendricks for win number 12. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. with Cubs pregame live, presented by Fields Auto, right here on CSN.
Dexter Fowler comes in as part of a double switch. He'll play center. That moves Caesar to left. Justin Grimm is on the mound. Man on. Two down.
First appearance for Justin. Celebrated his 28th birthday the other day. 1-0 with a 4.15.
That'll be a base hit. Well, this is such an aggressive base running team. Pena makes third.
It didn't look like he was going to go, and then decided to push it. So Fowler decides to take a shot at him. That allows VR to move into scoring position.
Key moments in this game. may have been when Jeanette was batting bases loaded after 3 consecutive walks and Patton on a 2-0 pitch. He swung at it and grounded out to end the inning.
Yeah, and it's one thing if Ryan Braun, somebody like that, swings in that situation, but surprising to see Jeanette hacking in that situation.
It's only a 2-run lead here. 2 men on, 2 down, 8th inning. 1-1 to first. Inning over. They get 1. That's it. Bottom 8. Cubs 8. Brewers 6. Big crowd today once again to wrap up this long homestand. Cubs trying to make it 8 out of 10 and a 4-game series sweep. 41,407 the paid crowd. Here's Corey Knebel.
Hard thrower out of the University of Texas.
Breaking ball is tapped foul by Baez. Aroldis Chapman getting ready for the 9th.
Good life on the heater and a pretty sharp breaking ball for Corey Knebel.
Checked his swing and fouled it away.
Knebel, a first-round pick of the Tigers, 39th overall in 2013.
Count holding.
High leverage opportunities available in that Brewer bullpen. Earlier in the year would have gone to Jeremy Jeffress, Will Smith.
Baez able to hold up. Eugene did it again. 13 in a row. Dylan Cease and Duncan Robinson for the Emeralds combined. No hit Boise into the 8th inning. They continue their torrid stretch in the Northwest League. And tomahawk into left. His second straight hit. Bring up Fowler for the first time.
He just busted the pinata. Man, that's neck high. How do you do that?
He's Javier Baez.
Okay, so batting average on balls in play on, never mind, just on swings at that pitch this year. I'm guessing what? Oh, something. That ball never gets hit hard. Almost never gets hit.
First plate appearance for Dexter. One and one.
And then Hyde keeping the stopwatch down at first base, getting the times on Knebel. Whisper in Baez's ear, let him know what those times are, and if it's not particularly quick, he might try to steal a bag here. Start the clock as soon as he lifts his front foot. And then stop it as the ball gets to home plate. If it's 1.2 or higher, you feel pretty good about your chances of stealing that base. This is just a great throwing catcher. Aldonado's pretty good.
Good lead by Baez. There he goes. Fowler in the air. Deep right center. Wynn grabbing a hold of it, and it's caught. Neuenhuis on the track. That'll send Baez back to first.
Maybe that thing would carry out of here. It did not. Good base running by Baez all the way around second base, reading that high fly ball. Knowing that with his speed, he'd have time to scramble back on the catch. Goes by, then retouches. And then back again.
2 hits, 2 runs for the leadoff man today, Caesar. Top 3 in the order have done a ton of damage. 1-0. Outside corner, 1-1. Chance to win 77 out of the first 120. After today, 42 games to go. Cubs would just be a few wins away from clinching a winning record. They're on a pace to win 103. A remarkable year. This would be their 45th home win if they hang out. It's just 19 losses. Big towards second. Tossed by Maldonado. Abel has a sign. And he throws on a 2-1, swing and a miss, 2-2. Good fastball, 96.
A little of that Carl Edwards like cutting action.
Baez looks runnerish, not going. Look out. Ball 4.
And able to try to follow that up and in fastball with a good sharp curveball and a little knee buckler. He got the flinch from Caesar, but didn't find the strike zone. And now all eyes on Chris Bryant.
Derek Johnson to the mound. Our hefty home runs. 2-run shot in the 3rd. Solo blast in the 6th. Had a single and a double to the mix. 4 hits, 4 RBIs, 4 runs for the Cubs' 3rd baseman. No bat with 2 on and 1 out.
Knebel were a golfer, he would have been penalized for slow play by now. Would have cost him a stroke.
He has definitely taken his time. That was close.
That's scary. Ironically, this is the anniversary of the beginning of Tony Conigliaro back in 1967, young Red Sox superstar. And down for the rest of that year, all of the next year, it never really was the same.
The 2-0 foul. To the seats behind the Brewer bullpen. 2-2. He's filled up that scorecard today.
He has such a calm presence, even after the up and in fastball. It's kind of the same steady approach. A lot of hitters, you see one of two things. A lot of guys will just get a little gun shy, and other guys will get overly aggressive.
Scores. What a day for Bryant. It's a 5 for 5. It's 9-6.
It's his turn now to hear the MVP chants from this crowd. Anthony got him the other night. Bryant deserving with this effort here today. Yeah, so he talked about how the up and in fastball takes some guys out of their game, not Chris. Hangs in there steady as she goes. It's another rocket.
I feel like Bryant Kenny. Kill the cycle. Bryant's had 2 games this year that have been better than the cycle, even though he has not hit for it yet. So what does that say about the cycle?
It's overrated.
Yes. One and 2 on Rizzo. This will be the 25th pitch for Knebel. sent to deep left where Braun will haul it in.
More solid contact from Anthony.
Strike one to Zobrist. 2 in the first, 3 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 1 in the sixth, another added here in the eighth. Every time the Brewers have scored, the Cubs have answered right back in the bottom of that inning. Fly to right. This is Ramon Flores to end the inning. Let's go to the ninth. It'll be Chapman on the mound in a safe spot. 9-6.
Chapman for the year, 3-0, 26 saves and 28 tries, a 1.76 ERA. A 3-4-5 due up here for the Brewers in the ninth. Braun, Perez, Carter.
Have just 5 hits. They've scored 6 times. They've gotten an assist from 10 walks. They just keep hanging around this afternoon. Cubs have pounded out 14 hits. Five by Chris Bryant. Here's Braun. He's 0 for 4. His return to the lineup, missed the game last night with the knee and ankle injuries. This should be a fun matchup, right? Chapman and Braun.
Absolutely.
Painted on the outside corner. Davis has had the advantage over the years.
Yeah, what are you going to do when you're trying to gear up for one-on-one and he throws you that slider? You're going to look ugly is what you're going to do.
Triple digits to strike him out.
Got saves in both ends of the doubleheader the other day.
Takes a strike. He's homered twice in the series, including the 6th inning today. Top of the zone at 101. That's not easy to catch up to.
Yep, it's a losing proposition for a hitter there. 6 out of 7 in save opportunities since joining the Cubs.
Ball and 2 strikes. Carter on deck.
Watching the body language of some of the Cubs infielders, it's as if they're thinking, oh, there's no way the ball is going to be put in play.
Two away from him. 3-2. Another payoff pitch. Good battle. Three-run lead, 9th inning. Chapman struck out Braun to start this 9th. Is not going down quietly. It'll be at least a 10-pitch at bat.
not really in his game plan. It's not in his DNA to throw the old I give up fastball, the old two-seamer, just throw it over the plate, get some contact.
Really making him work. Pitch number 12 of the sequence. Base hit to left. What an at bat.
Pretty impressive work by Perez. He's lined out, walked, homered, and now singled today. So flew to right, but yeah, great at bat. For the Miguel Cabrera disciple.
Perez takes off for second, no throw. I believe he'll be given a steal. This run does not matter. One strike on Carter meantime. Two strikes.
And to that end, Wilson shouldn't come out of there, come out of his crouch as if he's going to make a throw. They're conceding the base, nobody's covering. They don't want to do anything that might cost the pitcher a strike.
You pitchers. 1-2. Yeah, I think it's in his DNA, right? He sees a runner on the move.
Yes, yeah.
It's a tough habit to break. Swing and a miss, strike three. 2 gone. Neuenhuis has homered and doubled. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Joe has been asked a fair amount about lefty-righty splits, that whole deal with Chapman. He said it really doesn't matter, and he's right. He is tougher on lefties, a lot tougher. 396 the OPS against, but righties it's only 523. Throw to third, and Perez is in safely. Again, an aggressive maneuver by the Brewers. A run that doesn't matter. Got to be 1,000% sure you can get in, and he did.
It was kind of interesting to watch that play out. The ball got away from Contreras, not very far. Contreras hesitated and then made the determination that Contreras didn't know where it was, so off he went.
Fastball charged to Contreras. The righties hit 165, lefties 127 against Chapman. In the air, foul out of play.
Yeah, so you're not going to play the matchup game with your closer. He's going to be your 9th inning guy. I asked Joe when they first got him, would you consider using him? Big situation in the 8th with a couple guys on against a tough lefty. Even if you didn't think he would then be able to give you the 9th, and Joe said no. And then we saw Chapman came in one of his first appearances and came in the 8th inning. That's the game he blew the save, and afterwards said he really didn't like pitching in that situation. So Joe has tried to stay away from that.
Ground ball to Rizzo. Chapman covers the bag. Cubs win. Cubs sweep. First time they've ever swept the Brewers in a 4-game set at Wrigley. They did it in Milwaukee last year. And that'll wrap up an 8-2 homestand.
Yeah, a homestand in which the starting pitching has led the way. That wasn't the case here today. Jake Arrieta was off his game, issuing 7 walks. He allowed 5 runs, but it was good enough to pick up a win, his 15th, so he's now tied for the league lead in wins with Steven Strasburg. But the headline today, Kris Bryant, man, what a show that young man put on.
Toast to the game is presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. It does go to Kris Bryant. Binny's is the official champagne provider.
Second 5-hit game of the year for Kris. He drove in 5. He scored 4 times. Single, double, and 2 home runs for the big fella.
Let's go down to the field and Kelly Kroll.
Kris, what a performance. Couple of home runs, a single, a couple singles, and a double. What does it feel like to be in the zone and have a day like that?
Felt good. I mean, before this year, I've never had 5 hits in a game, and I have 2 of them. I mean, today was a lot of fun for me, and obviously for the team, getting the win. But I can't really explain what it feels like. It just feels good.
You've had some really big days. I think about Cincinnati, something like today. But when you step up in that last at bat, are you thinking about a cycle at all, even though today was even better than that in a way?
I wasn't thinking about cycle. I was thinking about a homer. I mean, you don't really get a chance to hit 3 home runs in a game too often. So, I was glad to get an insurance run there for Chapman coming in. And he's doing what he did every time he goes out there since we got him. So that was a great game for us.
I'm going to throw out a couple names here. When it comes to Santos, Sosa, Banks, and Rizzo, you become now the 5th Cubs player to hit 30 home runs at the age of 24 or younger. Is that meaningful to you when you hear those names and know that you're in that group?
Yeah, it definitely is to me. I mean, you mentioned some really good players, and this team has a lot of history to it, and to be mentioned in the same sentence as those guys, it's humbling, and it just pushes me to be even better.
All right, well, 30 ties you with Nolan Arenado, and you're going to see him tomorrow, okay? So you got to keep this going.
I'll try my best.
There you go, guys. His best has been pretty darn good up to this point. 5 for 5. Cubs get another big win. Thank you, Kris.
All right, Kelly, thank you. So it is off to the road for the next 9. And we're back with you tomorrow, 7 o'clock Central on CSN. Pre-game coverage, Cubs and the Rockies from Colorado. For JD, for Kelly, and our entire CSN crew here at Wrigley Field, Len Casper with your final score. Cubs 9, Brewers 6. Stay tuned. More to come. Blue Cross Blue Shield. Cubs post-game live next.